Sitting in for Bob Lee, Steve Bunin.
For baseball fans of every team but one, having the best record in the majors and sitting on the precipice of your fourth 100-win season and 8th division title this decade, you'd be hard-pressed to find reason to complain. But reason doesn't always compute in the bubble that is baseball fanaticism in the Big Apple. And sure enough, Jobe Chamberlain's late summer struggles are causing plenty of Yankees fans to wonder what's gone wrong and where the right-hander, who turned all of 24 Wednesday, fits into the team's October and long-term plans.
Well, this is the beginning of what the Yankees will hope will be a long Jobe Chamberlain era.
In just 18 minor league appearances, 15 starts, Jobe Chamberlain shows the big league brass enough to get called up to the majors in his first professional season.
So now the count full at 3-2, and Chamberlain deals. Swing and a miss. Got him on an off-speed pitch.
Oh, my goodness. First breaking ball punches somebody out of the major leagues.
From the moment he steps on a big league mound, the 21-year-old flamethrower with a fan's waistline justifies the hype.
A sellout crowd of 54,398 looking for a strikeout. And the 2-2. Got him.
He finishes his rookie season with a 0.38 ERA and 34 strikeouts in 24 innings, all out of the bullpen. Then a hiccup in the postseason on a memorably muggy night in Cleveland.
Chamberlain delivers. Low and inside. It's a wild pitch. The throw to the plate. He's safe. And it's tied up. The second wild pitch of the inning by Chamberlain.
Still, the legend is established. General manager Brian Cashman remains committed to groom Chamberlain as a starter, but equally committed to limiting his workload. Chamberlain starts 2008 as a reliever, waiting until June to make his first big league start.
Listen to this crowd. This town has been buzzing about this for the last week. 3-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out.
He cards a 2.76 ERA in the rotation, but by August 4th, a shoulder injury shelves Chamberlain for a month. And when he comes back, he's back in the bullpen. Here in 2009, Chamberlain is used only as a starter. And deep into the summer, the plan is working. July is Chamberlain's best month as a starter, but by August 1st, he's already piled up a new career high in innings pitched. Firm in their long-term outlook, the Yankees begin to monitor his pitch count more strictly, and Chamberlain's performance immediately turns sour. Chamberlain's ERA before August 1st, 3.58. Since then, 8.25.
This one is gone, a 3-run home run, and the Mariners now lead 7-0.
Now limited to 3 and 4 inning starts, Chamberlain's confidence seems unquestionably shaken, and the pitcher so electric just 2 Octobers ago now finds himself without a defined role heading into the team's first postseason since. 35 years ago today, Dodgers pitcher Tommy John lay down on an operating table and changed sports history. A 12-year veteran who had made one All-Star team, John enlisted Dr. Frank Jobe to fix his shredded left elbow and save his career. Jobe did, with a revolutionary surgery that not only got Tommy John back, but saw him become a top 10 Cy Young Award vote getter in 4 of his first 5 seasons after the operation. Now, ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction is known as Tommy John surgery, and it's an athlete's best bet back from a broken wing. Some of those who've gone under the knife explain the surgery from a piece Outside the Lines originally presented in 2003.
You mentioned Tommy John's operation to any baseball player at any level in the United States. They know pretty well exactly what the operation is.
There's really a tendon here in your wrist that connects to the hand, to the bottom of your hand, and runs to about mid-forearm.
There's a ligament that lays here in your arms, and it does absolutely nothing.
It's just like a car's got a spare tire, you got a spare tendon.
Cut it from the muscle and just kind of pulled it out. You know, it's about, I don't know, probably about that long. Looks like a little piece of fettuccine. And then they go in your elbow and open it up.
Drilled 2 holes up here, 1 hole in this bone.
You know, they run it through like a figure 8.
And they just looped it through like this and then tied it together on both sides.
Your body takes over and it turns it into a ligament. It's in the spot and it kind of converts. So it's, you know, it's kind of a weird process, but it seems to work.
You look down and you're looking at your arm, you're thinking, okay, whoa, what's going on here? You know, you've got to hold a ligament from a different part of your arm and here holding this thing together.
I probably should have had Dr. Jobe sign his autograph right there, but maybe that is his autograph.
Right.
I'd used this tendon for stabilization of joints before. The only thing I didn't know, I knew I could put it in there and it would stay, but I didn't know whether it would stand pitching. And after a couple of years of pitching, I realized that that was a successful operation.
Now, from the guys in that piece, Kerry Wood is the only player still on an active roster. Chad Fox is on the disabled list in Chicago. Garrett Stevenson retired 6 years ago, and Tom Candiotti calls games for the Diamondbacks. Other notables who've had the surgery: A.J. Burnett, Chris Carpenter, Josh Johnson, NFL, Jake Delhomme, and Terrell Owens. It is estimated one of 9 major leaguers have had Tommy John surgery. We now welcome in the orthopedic surgeon most often associated with pro athletes, Dr. James Andrews, and Tommy John himself. Tommy, what was your expectation going into your meeting with Dr. Jobe 35 years ago?
Well, Dr. Jobe told me, Tommy, you really don't have to have the surgery, but I can tell you if you do not have it, you'll never play Major League Baseball again. I said, okay, if I have it, what are the chances? He said, I don't know, slim to none. But, you know, me being a bright young man from Terre Haute, Indiana, 0 chance is not very good. So I wanted to play Major League Baseball, and I said, Dr. Jobe, let's go for it.
And what was the toughest part about rehabbing from the operation?
Well, it's the unknown, actually. You know, there was no set schedule. I would go in every Monday to Bill Buehler, the Dodger trainer, and I say, what are we going to do this week? And we would do various arm exercises with weights. But back in that era, the only way we knew how to get your arms strong and back to throwing was to throw. So I threw a baseball off a mound every day. I took Sundays off. I figured if God took Sundays off, Tommy would too. And that's what I did. I threw 6 out of 7 days. The worst day I had was Monday. The best day I had was Friday, Saturday. And I started that, and I did it for the rest of my life in baseball.
Doctor, how many of these surgeries would you estimate you've done?
Oh, my goodness. More than I could count, several thousand.
How has the surgery and the rehab changed since Tommy first went under the knife 3 decades ago?
Well, you know, it hadn't really changed that much. We still have time restraints. We still have to bargain with Mother Nature. And it's pretty much the same operation. And, you know, I think Tommy and I both have a lot to thank Dr. Jobe for advancing my career and, of course, enabling him to continue his career. So it all goes back to Frank Jobe.
And why is the surgery so much more prevalent now among young athletes?
Well, that's a big problem. You know, we talk a lot about being able to fix somebody surgically, but what we're really trying to do in sports medicine today is keep them out of the operating room and on the playing field. And we're seeing all these young kids now that are getting hurt on the playing field before they get into college. And so it's an epidemic of injuries, and it's because of year-round baseball.
So what do you attribute that to in the year-round baseball?
Year-round baseball meaning fatigue. Fatigue either from a seasonal event or from the year. And if you have fatigue in your throwing arm, there's about a 36 to 1 times that you can injure your elbow or your shoulder. So there's the problem.
Now, Tommy, you're among the generation of pitchers who say, well, we threw, as you said, all day, every day, even after surgery, and didn't seem to have as many injuries. How do you explain that?
Well, I think a lot of us did stuff because we didn't know any better. I know my son Tommy has a baseball performance school in Lake Forest, Illinois, and he tries to get these parents to let their kids start training with him and start getting themselves stronger. And like Dr. Andrews said, year-round baseball is the bane of all. I think that's the problem, and it starts with coaches, and they have fall ball, winter workouts, and all these things. Play two leagues during the summer and all this, and there's only so much a young arm can stand. And I think that what you try to do is get the player stronger, get his core better, and throw the ball. But I don't know. Jim Cotton and I come from the same theory. It'll rust out before it will wear out. And I think the thing is, we threw the ball. Now, we didn't pitch. We threw the ball, and we threw the ball often. But it's year-round baseball now it's the killer.
Doctor, what do you think about that theory that it'll rust out before it wears out?
Well, I believe that young baseball players have to throw the baseball to develop their arm. It's a developmental sport. But the problem is they're not just throwing like Tommy did, but they're pitching competitively. They're pitching at an ultimate level, year-round rather than learning how to throw a baseball. So there's a big difference between pitching competitively and developing your arm from throwing.
And what is the proper way, in your opinion, to develop a teenage pitcher?
Well, number one, they need about 2 to 3, preferably 4 months to allow their arm to recover during a 12-month period. They need to go through what we call periodization. They need high levels of competition. That's with any sport. Then they need a gradual decline. They need a period of active rest with exercises. Then they build up again. The problem is if you stay built up 12 months out of the year, you're in trouble.
All of our viewers are getting like a free copay out of this. Tommy, how would you then, it's one thing for teenagers, how would you handle a young pitcher like we just featured in Jobe Chamberlain, who's already a professional?
Well, you know, you're between a rock and a hard place with Jobe. They've got so much money invested in him. Do you want to throw him and risk injury, or do you take the path of least resistance, which is less? I agree with Jim Cott. The pitchers that I've seen in baseball that have done better as a youngster is they pitch out of the bullpen early on, and they learn how to pitch. They learn by getting their fannies whacked every once in a while, and then you get better and better, and then you ease them into a starting role. But Jobe, you know, if you start him and he pitches 200 innings and he breaks down, Joe Girardi, Dave Island, they're fired. If you throw him out of the bullpen and he has problems, they're fired. So it's you know, Jobe Chamberlain has a great arm, and he's a huge guy. I mean, he's 6'4", like 260. He is a big guy, and he's going to be good whether he's out of the bullpen or starting. He just has to have a pat on the back every once in a while.
Doctor, how would you advise professionals, not teenagers, but professionals, to stay off of your operating table?
Well, you know, the professionals are taken care of, and they're handled a lot better than the young kids. And it should be just the opposite. But professionals are, you know, the knowledge is there, the techniques are there, they got the pitching coaches, the trainers, and they have a seasonal situation. I think the Yankees are handling this pitcher properly. They're trying to get him ready for the playoffs.
Dr. James Andrews and Tommy John, we appreciate both of your time. Both of you have left a huge mark on the game of baseball, and we thank you on Outside the Lines.
Thank you.
Up next.